has some sway to the point that if he says, he tells Brett Veach, hey, this guy's great. So if he's there at 31, you should really think about it. I think Brett Veach would take it more seriously, don't you?
Yeah, so I don't want to overblow it.
You don't think that he has that kind of sway?
It's not that, but one, as you said, they're at 31, so I don't think it's not like Mahomes can say, I love this guy.
No,
gotta
that's
go
what
get
I
him,
said.
and they're going to trade up. And I think, again, when it comes to these conversations, make him fair intentions. Just like they gave him a heads up that, hey, we think we're going to have to trade Tyreek. We're not going to be able to work this. I think they give him heads up. They keep him in the loop, and they take his input, but he's not the general manager. He is not getting calls, and they don't feel like they have to do what he wants to do. I don't think they're there.
I don't think it's that. I just think if he says, this guy's great, you should seriously consider him, they take a harder look. They further.
Like the Clyde Edwards-Helaire example from a couple of years ago, where they drafted Clyde, and there's the video that went on social media, and Andy's there, and he's like, yeah, Pat chose you, man. Like, okay, there's like 5% truth to that. They probably said, hey, we really like this kid. What do you think? And Patrick was like, yeah, I think we could actually do some really good things with him. Oh, he said he chose you. He wanted you. That, to me, is the extent of how this stuff goes. But there's no harm in any of it. I also think, because someone pointed out on the text line, I Googled it as well to confirm, and Quentin Johnston, I guess, did the same thing with the Cowboys a little bit.
I think it's about his agent
not,
trying to get him shoved up the draft board, because I think there's a chance he's falling further than they want.
I don't know if
Cowboys pick at 26,
Cody,
Chiefs pick at 31. They both have need at wide receiver.
I don't know the circumstance of why Mahomes and the Chiefs wide receivers have chosen the TCU practice facility. But it makes sense why Quentin Johnston would be at the TCU practice facility. Like, it turns out the Cowboys, who we all know, Fort Worth, not exactly very far away.
I just feel like we describe it like it's white men can't jump, and he's just like stretching on the sideline like, I want to run some 4-route concepts. Is there another, like, Nick, the way you described it, is there anyone else who plays wide receiver in the just anyone at all who plays wide receiver? Quentin Johnston's like, I mean, I'll play a little. Like, and he just, like, steps off the sideline, and all of a sudden he's throwing? I assume it's coordinated.
I think there's probably some truth to the idea that Quentin Johnston is a player that the Chiefs are interested in, but it's not a happy accident that they wound up practicing with one another. It also does not at all. Like, if you were to tell me on Monday there was a 5% chance of Quentin Johnston being a Chief, I would say today there's maybe a 6% chance of Quentin Johnston being a Chief.
Here's the thing. It makes a logical sense from one perspective, which is it is a way of skirting this top 30 visit system. Here's some extra time with a different wide receiver that you're not technically scheduling separate time with. He just happens to be working out with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, he's not talking to. I mean, the visits are with with Brett Veach and with Andy Reid when they do these visits.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily throwing away. It's more just
another. It's more FaceTime with somebody else.
Now, are they going to even take? Daniel Jeremiah was on with the Drive yesterday. Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network. And what would they do at 31? What is he hearing?
I think it's the supply-demand thing. You know, I think if you're looking for a speed wide receiver, there's a boatload of them. I think you can find maybe it's not quite Jalen Hyatt in terms of the player, but it's not that far off. Whereas usually when line of scrimmage guys, offensive line, defensive line, you got to take those guys a little bit earlier. The supply runs out.
That's why you said the Chiefs should target a lineman. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be an offensive lineman. It could be that edge rusher. We've discussed this. This is why I think all three of us have moved the priority up on either an edge or an offensive lineman. I obviously have said I want them to take a tackle. I think you and Nick are now more on edge rusher. And this is also, because of what he just said there, this is why I really do believe trading down is in play if there is a partner there that's willing to trade back into the second round. I know that's not what fans want to hear. We had someone on the text line that said we should not be allowed to suggest the Chiefs trading down. The draft's in Kansas City. I get it, man. But you know what? You're going to be perfectly happy.
You care about Super Bowls or watching the Chiefs pick at 31?
If I tell you they get multiple players in the second or third round because they traded down, they can help in the year. I don't think in February you're going to be, man, they robbed me of my Thursday night moment. I think you'll be okay. I think it's going to be fine.
I won't care. But this goes back to like the Tyreek conversation we just had. Like at the moment, maybe you cared that they traded him away. Maybe Mahomes cared more in the moment that they traded him away. Do you think he cares now? In the very first year after they traded away one of the number one wide receivers in the NFL, they won the Super Bowl. Turns out the plan was fine. They trade down from 31. I assume it's a good plan because they've had a lot of those over the last few years. It doesn't mean it all is going to work out perfectly. Brett Veach will eventually have a bad draft. That will occur.
He's already had one, technically.
Yeah, but like his first year, everyone statistically is far worse in those.
His second year, too.
He wasn't, that one wasn't. And there's two parts of this that are absolutely insane to me. One, trading away a third overall pick when the guy you just took and got a half a season sample size out of, who isn't even healthy enough to play right now, I don't think I'd be real quick to disassemble my quarterback room. But the other part about this, do you know how wild it is to trade 3 first-round picks for a quarterback at number 3 overall gold and then not get fired if you want to get rid of that guy 2 years later is? That is an absolutely insane thing that does not happen in the NFL. That gets you fired every time. But because you hit on a 7th-round rookie, you get to keep your job. Everybody gets to keep their job and be happy and safe.
And in fairness, over the last, 4 years, I mean, the 49ers have been one of the more consistent franchises in terms of deep playoff runs as well. I mean, to your point about job security for Shanahan / John Lynch as the general manager there with the San Francisco 49ers. My thing is, I mean, it is pretty evident what's going on here. You have a Niners team that wanted this information out there, wanted to make it seem
they want to draw some interest,
that there is some interest, whether there actually is or not. Teams, by the way, somebody just calling and saying, is he available? That is a long ways away from actually having true trade conversations. But I'm with you on the Brock Purdy point. I mean, there was something you and I, we didn't talk about on the show, but we saw there's some rumblings that Brock Purdy, based off of how the rehab goes, there's a chance that he might not play much next year. Like, that's a possibility. It's not the most likely. There's a chance.
No, there's still a chance he could just play in like October.
Yeah, and so are you willing to risk that of what you saw for the final, 8 games or 9 games of last season?
Like, to me, that publicly states how little you like Trey Lance.
Well,
right?
I think that became more and more evident as Jimmy Garoppolo took over for him, and then they, was going to be the guy. But I'm talking about not even this year when he got hurt. I'm talking about going back
2 years ago,
the year prior to that. And if I'm a team, though, like the Colts, who's sitting there at 4, and we're wondering whether they want to flip spots with the Cardinals, and the Colts have gone the veteran route. They haven't been able to develop a quarterback, or they've just not even tried. And Chris Ballard, I think, is on the hot seat there. Would you not be interested in saving that pick and going and trading for Trey Lance, though?
The one thing that I still am not sure about, the way these teams who could use a quarterback, Washington, the Colts, Minnesota, right, because they don't know what the future of Kirk Cousins is. Like, a lot of it is, I don't think there are going to be teams who take the chance or are willing to take as big of a chance on those guys because of how good the quarterback draft class is next year. I don't think these teams like Washington, the reason why they're considering starting Sam Howell is not because they're like, wow, Sam Howell's the goods. We're in great shape. We're an unstoppable force. No, they're taking that chance because they want a chance at being 1 or 2, realistically. Like, if I were Tampa Bay...
Well, they also have the 16th overall pick this year, Cody. I mean, they're not in a spot to,
They're not.
They're not, even if you want to trade, that's a lot of draft capital to trade up to get to the top 10 anyway. So.
What would it take to even get Trey Lance? A third? A second?
Well, that's what I wonder. There's no way in hell you're getting a first-round pick. Absolutely not.
I would never give that up. Not in a million
probably
years.
Conditional picks based on performance. So maybe
a third that can turn into a second?
Yeah, or if I was thinking like a couple fourths that could turn into threes. Like, not much, man. The guy hasn't played any football. He hasn't been healthy, and there was a lot of questions anyway. This was also a player coming out of North Dakota State that everybody said hadn't played much anyway.
No, he was a COVID year, so they didn't get a good evaluation on him.
And then now he hasn't played. He's played, 3 games of the NFL? Something like that?
Yeah. I mean, he sat the entire first year behind Jimmy Garoppolo. Then he got hurt. So it's and it didn't even seem like they really wanted to start Trey Lance last year.
That is why.
It felt like they had to.
This entire Trey Lance situation is why you don't let head coaches handle roster construction. Kyle Shanahan, by all accounts, is a great coach. Great coach. Has had a ton of success despite the lack of talent at quarterback. You don't let the guy who is in charge of making you, supposed to make you win right now, also be in charge of building your team for the future, because that's what he did. He drafted a guy for the future, refused to play him right now, and now you've got a guy you drafted in the top 3 who hasn't played at all.
You don't
has no trade value.
And what sucks is, it doesn't... if you knew he sucked, it's one thing, Nick. It's like you barely even know. If you'd played him that whole first year instead of Jimmy G, at least you'd know. You'd know if he was no good, right? You'd have some sense of if this guy was an NFL caliber quarterback. You got 4 games of evidence. You have no time with the kid. You don't even know.
Well, and it goes back to the question of, when you look at the Chiefs draft, you say, okay, should they be drafting a guy who can help them right away? Should they be looking at a receiver who can come in and be an instant impact guy and help this offense? Well, if you're Andy Reid, that's exactly what you want. You want someone who makes you better next year. If you're Brett Veach, though, you're looking at the big picture. You're not just looking at one season. You're not looking at the next 20 weeks. You're saying, what can we get over the next 4 or 5 years? And when you have one guy who's thinking about both of those things, usually you get sort of weird hybrid decisions like the one they made with Trey Lance.
It's also a good reminder for your conversation yesterday that somebody taken in the top 3 who gets taken at quarterback, they're going to stink.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is yet, but they're bad. Yeah, just know now.
Were
they
you
stink.
listening? Were you listening yesterday?
I knew that it was a topic that we were going
long
to
track record
discuss.
of if quarterbacks go 1-2, either there's a very good chance that one of them is an absolute bust. And we'll see right now if it holds, although there's rumors that the Texans, of course, aren't going to take quarterback. Massive mistake.
Don't believe them.
Liars. Between Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, one of them's going to be a bust.
Yeah, and we talked about that yesterday on Cody and Gold. And the reviews are in. The ratings. Did you see have you seen it, Gold? The ratings spiked yesterday?
Wow, really?
Yeah, Cody, I don't know why they haven't given you access, but we actually can just go on our phone and pull up an app.
You
and
can
it tells
live see?
instantly how many people are listening. It's kind of interesting.
Look, I chose to be with my family yesterday.
They're going down more.
I chose family time.
Hold on, dude.
They're going back up.
Okay, there we go.
They're going back up.
Huh. Interesting.
What was yesterday? You were at the zoo.
I was at the zoo for a field trip. I'm sad to report that my sign duty that I bragged so much about, that was taken away before we even started.
They didn't trust you to do anything
hold
on
on,
the field trip,
Hold on. No. I got an even more important job.
Oh.
You can't trust me with the sign because I got put in charge of something.
Would you forget
know what
the
my
sign at
job
home?
was? My job was to be the caboose person at the end of this line. I was to make sure.
Caboose person. You just made that up.
That's what they called it.
The caboose person.
You know what? The kids are in a line, are trained. I was the caboose to make sure no kids got left behind. My job was to pick up the stragglers, make sure everyone stayed in line, kept moving, didn't get away from the other parents or teachers. The teacher specifically said that she had a conversation with another person at the school and was trying to decide which parent to leave with this responsibility, Nick. And they chose me. They said I was the person responsible enough to handle this.
They said literally a drunk monkey could do this job. Let's give it to this guy.
That's not how she put it.
We've heard him on the radio. Even he couldn't screw this up.
That's not how they put it. They made it sound like it was an important responsibility.
Anybody that is willing to sit on their ass in the back of the train. And Cody was like, yeah.
I didn't volunteer. I was asked if I would handle said responsibility.
Well, they figured they didn't probably trust you because, I don't know, you said on the radio 2 days ago you were going to be, quote, the highest parent at the field trip. You did say that. The highest parent.
I think that's out of context a little bit, but yeah. Yeah. I handled my responsibility.
So no kids were lost?
No kids were lost.
Any tantrums? Anybody crying? Anything like that?
No tantrums. I had to get a bit stern a couple of times.
Okay, what happened?
Just, not moving going areas to areas that they weren't supposed to be on, climbing on things they're not supposed to climb on.
Act like I'm a kid, and
Nick's trying to jump into the lion enclosure. Yeah. And what do you do?
I'm climbing up the fence a little bit. What happens?
There's a lot of like this. Like, Nick, come on, get back in line. You're not supposed to be on there.
You snap.
Oh, they're snapping.
You snap at children.
It gets their attention faster. You gotta get them in order. Get them in line.
At someone else's kid.
Wow. So what? Oh, wow. My kid was back there with me.
Dude, do not do that to me.
Do not
snap at me. Do not clap at me. I saw that the other day. I was at the golf course, and inside the clubhouse, there were these old boys who could tell they'd been there for a few days. For a few hours. They've been drinking for a while. And one guy was trying to get the other guy.
Server?
No.
Oh,
to each other. And the guy was having another conversation, and the third guy was trying to get one of their attention. He starts talking, and he's not listening, and he goes, "Hey!" And he's doing that in his face. I thought to myself,
"Oh no!"
If any of my friends ever did that to me, you don't snap.
These are children.
I know.
It doesn't matter.
Loud noises. You got to get their attention. I wouldn't do that to an adult.
I don't have
just grab him by the arm next time.
No, come on. I didn't do that, and I wouldn't do that.
I don't know how that works. Like, if someone else that has kids can text in, do you snap at other children?
Are you a finger wagger? Do you just point your finger really demonstrably?
There wasn't. It never got that out of control. The kids were very well behaved for the most part. It was just they're trying to climb on stuff.
Like, how many kids were you watching?
So I'm in the back, so there was a bunch of kids. Like, I had almost no responsibility.
The entire group.
There was like 18 kids.
Okay, that's not a
Cody,
lot.
do you yell at kids in public, like at the grocery store, if they're misbehaving?
No. In this situation, I'm an authority figure, right? So I have a little bit of leeway to be like, you can't do that or don't do that thing. So
do they call you Mr. Tap?
They didn't know. Nobody called me Mr. Tap.
Mr. Tap, can I go to the bathroom?
I would demand it, Cody, if I were you.
To be called Mr.
Well,
Tap?
they're going to know you're an authority figure at that point if they have to call you Mr.
Did they
Tap.
call you Cody? They said Cody?
I don't think they called me anything.
Mr.
Wow.
Is that
So
bad?
you didn't make an impact on these children's lives.
That's not what I said.
But I
We had a
know
good-
it's not what you
We had
said.
a
But
fun trip to the zoo. You know? Everyone is safe. Back on the bus, although we were very late getting back to the bus.
Do you
but
think
I don't think
there's
that's on me.
Do you think there's any chance, like over the next couple of days, you will get like a call from another parent saying, my son came home very upset from the zoo the other day, and he said you were snapping at him, and you don't snap at my kid. If I ever find out you snap at my kid again, we're gonna have an issue.
I don't think so, because there was one parent there, and I didn't realize that was his kid, and I did the come on, we got to get back. And then I found out that other parent was there. I was like, I probably should have just let that one slide a little bit. I was backseat parenting just for 1/2 second.
He said, don't talk to my kid.
He didn't say that. He didn't say anything. I think he was cool with it.
So you did not get in a fight with another parent?
He wanted you. He wanted you to discipline his child.
I don't think that's the case. I definitely don't think that's how it went down. I think he just respected the order.
So
he respected the position of caboose. He respected that was my job.
Wow, okay.
Keeping the stragglers in order.
all right,
you know?
so in conclusion, you think you'd be invited back to chaperone?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There it is.
In fact, they may give him more responsibility next time.
I mean, what's next?
You got to be in the front.
Next is
you
the
gotta be in
front.
the front of the train, man.
Yeah, be a
You gotta in
leader.
the front of that train.
The front's an even bigger responsibility, but I assume that'll always be the teachers, right? They're never going to ask me to be in front.
You never know, man. You play your cards right, you might have that opportunity.
We'll see.
All right, coming up next, we get back to the draft, though. The 7 starters that the Chiefs were able to come up with in last year's draft. So how do you judge success this year? We'll try to do that next.
Cody and Gold.
Would I rather have my ween slammed in a car door? Or would I rather have my fingernails ripped off with a pair of needle-nose pliers? I don't know. I can't decide.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Hey guys, it's Nick Schwartz here. I have been on this fitness journey for about a month now. I'm feeling better than I have ever felt in my life. I really mean that. And it's thanks in large part to 213 Flashpoint. I start every day with it. I don't have the midday cravings. I don't have those crashes around 2 p.m. And it just makes me feel better throughout the day and get done the stuff I know I need to do. Last week, I went into Supplement Superstore for a little monthly checkup. I wanted to see the progress I've been making, and I stepped on the scale, and I found out that I've gained about 5 pounds of muscle, and I've lost almost 4.5 pounds of fat in 4 weeks. The results were shocking to me, but in reality, they shouldn't be, because if you have a good plan and you stick to it, these kind of results are easily obtainable. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without Supplement Superstores. I never had a plan before. They helped make me a plan. They introduced me to 213 Flashpoint, and now I feel like I have this routine that works for me. Try 213 Flashpoint. It's made a huge difference for me. I think it can help you too. Check it out at any of the 8 Supplement Superstores locations in the KC metro area.
Spring is in the air, and that means one thing. Dandelions are coming. Don't let those annoying yellow weeds invade your lawn again. This year, trust your lawn to Ryan Lawn and Tree. This is Larry Ryan. No other lawn care company delivers the results that Ryan Lawn and Tree delivers. More than just providing a beautiful dandelion-free lawn. Your trusted pros in the clean red trucks make sure your entire landscape is healthy, strong, and ready to look great no matter what nature throws at it. And unlike the other guys, the pros at Ryan Lawn and Tree are employee owners, full-time professionals going above and beyond every day with 5-star customer service. Call us or click ryanlawn.com today. And as a new customer, you'll save 50% on your first lawn application. Enjoy a worry-free, effort-free, dandelion-free lawn this year with Ryan Lawn and Tree.
Hello, I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. I'm so proud that we've helped over 15,000 businesses claim over $5 billion in cash incentives. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you'll
ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
Hold on. So the Upside app is free? You actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code GOLF for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code GOLF. Use code GOLF for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
You've never had anything like Kentucky Fried Chicken's new chicken nuggets. They're so good, you'll hear a random choir singing every time you open the box. Don't believe me? Just listen. Box open. KFC chicken nuggets. KFC. Box close. Open. Close. Can we get a remix? Order KFC's new chicken nuggets on the KFC app today. That's finger looking good. Prices and participation may vary.
Guys, fellas, men, do you want a better sex life? Roman has genuine medication that helps you achieve and maintain a strong erection. Roman has discreet wipes that help you last 4 times longer in bed. Roman has testosterone testing and treatment. Treating low testosterone can help revive your sex drive. So men, what are you waiting for? For a better sex life, go to ro.co/bettersex. Do it today and get 20% off. That's ro.co/bettersex.
I'm JR of CBS Sports Radio, and I want to introduce you to a new podcast titled Agents of Inclusion, brought to you by Special Olympics, Odyssey, and JR Sport Reproductions. Every Wednesday, we'll be speaking with a different Special Olympics athlete to share their stories of perseverance, accomplishment, and path towards inclusion. We don't want you to just listen. We want you to become an active agent of inclusion as well. Special Olympics, Agents of Inclusion, find it on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
This coverage is brought to you by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back. RENNER.
Renner Garage Doors, servicing and installing garage doors in KC for over 60 years. Family owned and top rated. Residential, commercial, service and repairs. RENNER. Forward and back. Renner, the company that does garage doors. RennerDoor.com.
1 week from today, we're going to be out at Jefferson's in North Kansas City, the entire 610 crew, because we get off this show a little bit early. Royals baseball on the air, not only today, but next Wednesday as well. We'll be out at Jefferson's in North KC at 2:30, grabbing some wings, some beer, watching some baseball. It's open to the public. They'll also have draft specials, $8 Bud Light pitchers during the entire NFL draft at both the North Kansas City and the Lenexa locations. And also just wear your favorite NFL team jersey. We presume it'll be your Chiefs jersey, but your favorite team, and you'll receive a free order of fried pickles at both the North Kansas City and Lenexa locations as well.
I think it's actually cruel and unusual punishment for them to make us watch the Royals game.
You think we should just hang out and not watch baseball?
Can I make an addendum to this watch party?
You don't have to be actively watching the game.
No. I do think I make sure that game is not on.
Oh, we want to watch it.
You do? Do you actually mean that? That a week
I like
from
watching
today,
baseball.
That a week from today, you're already thinking about the desire, the innate desire in your body to watch this baseball team, if you want to call it that, which I think is actually a stretch.
It's sitting around at a bar, eating good fried food, right? Drinking a beer. That feels like very American, watching baseball.
Okay, and see, now you lost me.
Watching baseball.
And I
Watching
think
your
you've lo- and I think
hometown
you've lost
baseball
the s-
team.
No, they're a team that attempts to play baseball. Much in the, like if the 610 sports crew, if we all got together and went on a baseball field, that doesn't make us a baseball team. Just because we're trying to play baseball.
Let's find out. Let's get on a team together.
Did you watch that last night? Was that baseball?
It was for 5 innings.
How many innings are typically in a Major League Baseball game?
9 on average.
What if there's just one TV that you can put in?
You put a quality. I would rather watch the NFL draft preview for 3 hours. For 2 hours and 5 minutes. That's what. That's
We'll get
how
one
World's
TV
game
on.
lasted.
We'll get one TV on NFL Network for you.
I think we took a vote. I think if we did a straw poll, more people would want to watch NFL Network than whatever channel.
come
they
out
What
watch.
about an Office rerun for you on one TV?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Literally anything.
So next Wednesday, come out to Jefferson's, North Kansas City to watch the Royals, to watch NFL Network, to watch The Office, to watch
Like
whatever
the most
you want.
uncomfortable one, Scott's Tots.
Text line.
Specifically that
Text line
episode.
is suggesting we could watch Mean Girls.
Yeah, tell us what you want on the TVs next Wednesday. Join us at Jefferson's in North KC starting at 2:30. We'll have some great wings, some great beer, and hang out.
You
Maybe by
don't
then,
need an excuse for that.
The Royals could be on a 5-game winning streak by then. Have you considered that?
They could. They definitely
Honestly,
could.
no.
Come on.
How many wins do they have right now?
4.
Okay. No. Like I said yesterday.
But odds would give me that they've doubled their win total by next Wednesday.
I mean, Vinny's going to have to put the team on his back all year. He's the only player doing anything.
I mean, there's some other players
No.
performing well.
Not really.
The team as a whole doing poorly.
That's why I'm willing to keep the TV on the game
Text
on one
line
TV
suggesting-
to support our close personal
Yeah,
friend.
text line is suggesting we should put on the 2022 Pro Bowl and have that re-airing on one of the TVs.
It wasn't even a regular Pro Bowl game. It was just a
Doesn't matter.
game.
Doesn't matter.
It was like
Just
events.
have that.
Let's grind that tape.
Yeah, let's actually put the can we? I don't know if we're allowed to. Can we get the re-air
the
of
Senior Bowl?
the Super Bowl, please? Just have the re-air of that going instead.
Well, everybody likes watching that. That's not fair to compare. You know?
Text line.
From the 816, chance of me walking to the moon than the better chance of me walking to the moon than the Royals going on a 5-game win streak.
In April, you're right, but we know how this goes. They'll have a
They'll
five.
get a 5-game winning streak at some point this year.
It'll be in August or September. That's what usually happens. When truly at that point there's no pressure and nobody. I mean, we're already at the point.
What are
where
we going to say the next day? Like, oh, don't let them get hot.
It happens every
Don't let
August.
don't let these baby Royals get hot.
Every August and September it happens. They play better baseball then, and everybody's like, "Well, here we go." And then it's April again, and they play April baseball, which tends to be a bad thing for them.
I'm, for one, looking forward to watching Royals baseball next Wednesday at Jefferson's.
I will. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to listen to Vern's pregame. I'm going to listen to on the way out there. I'm going to listen to Vern's postgame on the way home.
Oh yeah,
and I'll get the recap of what happens in the game from him.
Perfect.
Because he's infinitely more entertaining than anything the Royals have done on a baseball diamond this year.
Okay.
I haven't heard a strong counter argument, Cody.
I mean, they're not playing good baseball. I can't argue the other side of that. They're 4-14. The record is what the record is, which is poor at the moment.
We'll get to the next little notes in about 8 minutes or so. Let's get back to the draft, though, which is a week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow, as they continue to get all the draft stage set up around Union Station. Every day I see like an updated photo in this massive stage that is getting built up. A year ago, the Chiefs had 7 starters come out of the draft.
Is it really that many?
No, it's like 5. But like still, it's that alone might be pretty far up on my list to make it a success. Like, if I get my mainstay tackle out of the draft, it might be as simple as that for me. In fact, it is.
I think 3 things for me if I'm like, it's a killer draft, right? I think there's a level of success I can accept below that. And I'm not trying to get out of control. I understand last year is an anomaly. Getting your starting corner, your starting defensive end, getting probably your starting safety this year in Brian Cook, or at least a guy who's going to play incredibly valuable minutes for you in that position. You're starting back another starting corner in Jalen Watson, whatever, right? Million guys, impossible to repeat that level of success. To me, they are successful in 2 of the 3 positions. I will call this draft a success. If you mean, or an exceptional rotational, right? Not just a guy who rotates, but a guy who's at the top end of a rotation at offensive line, defensive line, and wide receiver, then I will let it go. It doesn't matter. So, like, for me, the wide receiver is probably the guy most likely to be the rotational part of this. If you find me a future 7 sack every year guy, and it doesn't have to be this year. Let me just make that clear. You and I have talked about those numbers and how hard those are to obtain. But a 5 to 8 sack, right? They're guys who fall to those range. You find that guy in the draft. You find a wide receiver who is a rotational guy. Maybe he's a slot. Maybe he's a 600, 700-yard guy. I can live because they can continue to solve that problem down the road as Travis Kelce ages, as you pointed out. So they got a little bit of time there. And then defensive lineman, ideally at right tackle. But honestly, I would probably take the future left guard of this team if it means Joe Thuney's salary comes off the books, and all of a sudden you have to pay a right tackle, go back into the draft next year doing it. It's 2 out of 3 for me. If they get 2 out of 3, and the third guy is just a rotational piece who works in the system, who plays for this team, it is a success for me. And it doesn't matter if that wide receiver, that 600-yard wide receiver is in the 6th. I'm not saying it has to be picks 1, 2, and 3 that work for this team. But if we set a standard any higher than that, we're asking them to do more than about any other team does in the draft typically, right? I mean, 3 successful players, that's a good draft.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 years have spoiled you. I mean, that's just not normal. This is, I mean, what each of the front office have done is not normal. Have guys pan out. It's just the last 2 years, they have absolutely crushed it more than any other team has done in quite some time on a consistent basis. And the benefit that they have, of course, is they're never trying to search for the quarterback. They have the ability now, and I think we'll see it in this year's draft. Yeah, they have needs, but there's not, oh my gosh, they have to go and draft one particular position, or it is going to be a big problem for this football team. Yeah, we would like them to find another wide receiver. We would like them to go find an edge rusher. And they need a long-term answer at right tackle. But it's not, hey, at pick 31, 100% have to go and get this player or to go get this position. And that gives you some flexibility. It also makes it easier, I think, to not make the mistake in that, where you're not feeling like you're just taking a position to take the position of need.
Because that seems to be the times when Brett Veach does his worst work. When they needed a wide receiver, he took McCole Hardman, and it was like, it's not like McCole Hardman was just like a thing player, but come on, man. When they took him, they didn't get the value out of it. And then when they took Breland Speaks, they needed a defensive lineman. They knew they desperately needed. Brett Veach openly admitted after that draft that that was the only good defensive lineman left in the draft. So he does his worst work when his back's against the wall. So kudos. Because of the draft last year, his back is nowhere near it, which is great.
Another way to improve the roster might have been through trade of a wide receiver, and there was a wide receiver traded yesterday. Steelers getting Rams wide receiver Allen Robinson. All they gave up was a 7th-round pick, and if you look at the swap of the picks, it's not even 20 spots different. They basically swapped 7th-round picks with each other there, and the Rams are paying $10.2 million of Allen Robinson's salary this year. The Steelers will pay the remaining $5 million, and he'll be in Pittsburgh today for a physical, and by all accounts, he'll be a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers here this year. And there's still another year under contract. I believe it's $16 million the year after for a guy that's really only given the Rams, 300 or so yards the last couple of seasons. Allen Robinson was the name 2 years ago that people would be talking about in Kansas from fan base wise.
Good because he hadn't just played with a good quarterback.
Yeah, I think we found out that maybe he had a couple 1,000-yard seasons, but he's not as good as everybody thought he was.
He's not even as good as Brandon Cooks.
Everybody blamed it on having Mitchell Trubisky and other guys as his quarterback. And we're like, okay, I can kind of get behind it. The excuses are gone, and I think the Chiefs clearly had zero interest. I mean, they look at the trade.
It cost $5 million to get him.
Yeah, now it's still $16 million the year after, but you swap a 7th-round pick,
by the way,
and $5 million and no dead cap. So it's clearly a trade where they just have no interest. And by the way, I'm fine with that. I would not have been interested in Allen Robinson at this point in his career.
I think there's probably at some point where you could make the argument that, okay, it makes sense that you take this chance, you take this risk, and you go for a guy like Robinson. But that time was 2 years ago. It costs nothing to get him. It is a no-risk move. Let me just be very clear. Swapping 7th-round picks, paying $5 million for a wide receiver who you can cut next year for $0 in dead cap, that's a zero-risk move. Steelers are just taking a flyer. They are better at getting wide receivers to a higher point than most organizations in the NFL. So sure, take your chance. That, I mean, I like that at least, because, like, to me, you get the Chiefs wide receiver unit and be like, you should be more desperate than you are sometimes. Like, it's not good enough. You must know that this, on paper, is a very questionable wide receiver unit with a million unknowns about it.
Yeah, I would just ask, where does that Robinson fit in anyway?
They're not feeling that desperation, so they're not like, we'll eat $6 million and we'll swap sixth. It doesn't matter. They didn't have to make that decision because they're not in that position, because they trust that Mahomes will elevate them to a certain point. That at least tells me what, I mean, it doesn't really tell me the DeAndre Hopkins market, but it tells me that.
See, that's the difference, yeah.
I'd like it to tell me that, but I still think that the market, like, you're never going to trade for him because of what you're going to owe him.
Well, also, the Steelers, if D-Hop gets cut, they're not even a possible scenario for him to land, right? You know what I mean? Like, if D-Hop gets cut by the Cardinals, he's going to Kansas City or Buffalo or the Jets or a contender. You know, like that's where he's headed. He's not going to the Pittsburgh Steelers with Kenny Pickett. And so if you're the Steelers, you take a flyer on Allen Robinson. He joins up with Quentin Johnston and George Pickens and company, and they'll see what they can get out of him and hope that he can find what he had, 3 years ago, which was a 1,000-yard type of season in production.
Gotta write something down.
Nick's Notable Notes.
All right, guys, this edition of Nick's Notable Notes is brought to you by the Character Concerns Mock Draft 3.0. Character Concerns. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
By the way, another wide receiver working out. Adam Schefter saying Zay Flowers working out with Patrick Mahomes today. Not just Quentin Johnston, Zay Flowers as well.
Wow.
Now what?
Zay Flowers went to school at Boston College. Where is he from? You know, that's what people want to know.
Nick, you tell us, buddy.
You know, I haven't scrubbed
Fort
that.
Lauderdale, Florida.
Okay. Hey, it's official. It's official. 2 or 3 guys, and he said, Pat.
You know how this is trending, right? You know what this means? Anybody
They'll take a wide receiver in the 4th.
No,
That'll be the first one
they're going to take a wide receiver that had no top 30 visit and no workout with Patrick Mahomes. That's they're throwing people off the scent. They're not. But you know what this means? Neither of these guys are an option actually for Kansas City, because that's how
we can eliminate them.
That's how weird this draft crap is at times. Is that these connections make sense, but that actually will mean that they're actually more interested. There's somebody else out there nobody's talking about they're actually love, and they don't want people to know they love.
By the way, Cody, have you either read or listened to Mock Draft 3.0? It was widely discussed on the station yesterday.
What happened? Did it go bad? I haven't read it yet, but I will.
We've had 24 hours.
It resulted in Jay Binkley messaging me 20 times about a damn fullback.
Oh, no, you guys took a fullback again?
Okay, listen.
Oh,
now you're doing it to yourself, and you're gonna suffer the same fate that Alex did. And I think you knew exactly what you were doing when you criticized Binkley's selection of a fullback in round 6.
North Dakota State.
Yeah, pick 31. Dalton can kick that.
Yeah, there we go.
I like that.
He's on the board somehow.
So Jonathan Mingo going all offense. Okay.
Yeah, so
I'm listening.
Real quick, Cody, just wanted to get your initial impression of Mock Draft 3.0. Rave review.
I got to be honest. The back end of this, taking a running back in the 5th, a fullback in the 6th. I mean, were you missing like a kicker and a punter? Were you thinking about those as well, or are you just thinking all low value positions?
Listen, you know how this goes. You know how we do this. I had the first round pick, then Bink, then Chris, then me, then Bink, then Chris, and they were high on Hunter Lupke. Chris really wanted Evan Holmes. He was the first draft class we took in round 7. Now,
here's the thing. It's nothing again. Like, some teams, about a third of the league still carries a fullback, but I think Chiefs are phasing it out. Like, I think we're pretending like we don't realize that Michael Burton's playing time, fullback in general, has gone down in a snap percentage perspective 5 consecutive years in Kansas City. They're phasing it out. Phasing out the fullback. That's my bigger thing.
Or are they trying to throw you up the scent when they pounce and take the best fullback available in Hunter Lupke?
Yeah, best fullback available.
Maybe even trade up to get him.
It's like the best Royals win this year. Really good selection points, aren't there?
Who was the guy we were talking about last week when the Bucks traded up, I think, with the Chiefs to get the kicker, Robert Aguayo?
Yes. Yeah.
And then just like immediately was the worst kicker in the NFL. He was the most accurate kicker in college football history, got to the NFL, got the yips, and was out in a year. Nobody has a shorter list.
That's one of the worst draft picks ever.
Traded up to get the guy.
Drafting a kicker anyway is terrible, and then trading up in the way they did.
Wasn't it in like round 2 or 3?
Second round, I think, yeah.
By the way, never forget Sebastian Janikowski, first round pick. First round pick. They got their money's worth, Oakland.
The Raiders.
Cody, yesterday we were talking about the best draft selections in the Brett Veach era. I would love to see if you can just give us who is there one you were probably about a year away from losing Frank Clark. Maybe at the time you thought you were gonna. Well, I know they had already restructured his deal, but drafting George Karlaftis, it kind of follows that John Dorsey approach of getting a year ahead of what you are about to lose. And if you are to look a year from now, is there anything we can glean from what Brett Veach might do if they continue that trend of it may not seem like the most pressing need, but a year from now when we're making contract decisions, it may come in handy that we draft guys.
It's probably the biggest thing he took from John Dorsey because that was a big part of his model. Corner, just not knowing if, like you're saying, maybe legit contract, but maybe he doesn't.
He will, just maybe not in Kansas City.
Yeah, no, he was getting another NFL contract. Yeah, here in Kansas City. So corner could easily be that. I just told you guard with Joe Thuney's contract getting higher and higher is probably on that list somewhere. And safety forever because they don't have a long-term answer at safety still. They signed another guy to a one-year deal. Justin Reed could cut after this season, and they got Brian Cook, who they are offering a little protection for this year. So maybe that's
safety's an interesting one because even though it seems like okay, you got some answers there with Justin Reed and Brian Cook. I don't think anybody would definitively look at those guys and say they're a part of the long-term plans in Kansas City.
Justin Reed only signed a 3-year contract. This would be year 2. We usually talk about NFL contracts as being good for most of the contract, but not the final year. Justin Reed would fall into that same category, right?
And oddly enough, Brian Cook picked number 62 last year, but he was the 4th selection that the Chiefs had in the draft because of the Tyreek Hill trade.
So it doesn't feel like as big of a deal.
No, but like this year,
he was a second-round pick.
But this year they have pick 63, and it feels like it's a massive spot because whatever you do in round 1, if you go edge rusher, then all of a sudden, well, you got to get a wide receiver in round 2, right? The luxuries that you have with multiple, first and second round picks like last year just aren't there.
What was the rest of your top 3, by the way, on the rookies and the draft picks and Brett Veach? Because I went with Snead, Nick Bolton, and Creed Humphrey.
Snead would be on the list. I just think considering that you got a starting corner where you selected him at that time, I'd probably just take a leap and say Karlaftis. It's a valuable position.
We just eliminated.
Well, see, I didn't know the rules here.
You're good. No, we eliminated anybody from last year. We're like 1 year. We can't already say because all of a sudden Jalen Watson could be great this year or be terrible. Isaiah Pacheco after a half a season or 12 games to already say that it's one of the best picks in the Brett Veach era would be kind of crazy.
Then it's probably Nick Bolton.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm just curious. There you go. Those are Nick's notable notes. We'll get to the 11 o'clock hour. There was something that happened with the Royals in 2016 with one particular player. When could that happen with another now in 2023? We'll tell you next.
Cody and Gold.
Hey, it's Vinny Pasquantino. Even though I have a real beef with Nick, tune in to Cody and Gold weekdays starting at 10 o'clock right here on 610 Sports Radio.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
I'm so happy for one of our coworkers who handles sales here at 610 because she made a phone call to DuraVision. We've been telling you about it for years and years and years, and she made a phone call to find out, all right, enough of the contacts, hating glasses, how do I find a way to see going forward so I don't have to deal with this anymore? Well, she called up DuraVision, she met with Dr. Stahl, and she's going to have her procedure now on April the 25th. It took around 12 years or so for her finally to make that phone call. I know there's somebody out there listening right now that's been putting it off and putting it off. Now's the time to call DuraVision for that free consultation. No matter what age you are, I'll give you an example. The salesperson that I'm talking about, she's in her 40s. Her eyes are changing. Dr. Stahl took the time to explain to her, what does that mean? Her long-term vision goals. And now she's comfortable. Her mind's at ease with the choice that she made, and I know she is so excited. The same excitement I had 2 years ago when I underwent SBK Advanced LASIK. Give DuraVision a call at 913-491-3330 or go online to DuraVision.com.
Call your shot every Wednesday at BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Place a $25 home run prop wager on any game, and you'll receive a $10 bonus bet. It's simple. Just log into your account and opt in, or download the app and sign up with BetMGM BetMGM to swing for the fences on MLB Call Your Shot Wednesdays. It's no reason why the king of sportsbooks is the best place to bet on baseball. BetMGM and GameSense reminds you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager, Kansas only. New and existing customers offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
It's time. Time to empty your closets, junk drawers, and garage of all your old, unused tech. It's time to bag those batteries that bit the dust. To tell that old calculator its days are numbered. Time to tell your old hard drive a hard truth. It's time to go. It's time to recycle it all at Staples for free. Plus, this weekend, you save 15% on your purchase of $30 at Staples when you recycle that tech junk for Earth Day. Offer valid 4/22 and 4/23. Limit 1 reward per month. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/recycling for details.
Purchase new wiper blades from O'Reilly Auto Parts today and we'll install them for free. See better and drive safer with O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? Good news. There's a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. Call U.S. Tax Shield, A+ rated with the BBB. 800-391-5063 for your free consultation and let U.S. Tax Shield protect you from the IRS.
Hey, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Do you remember how cold it got this winter? Well, it was a chilly one. And if you notice the cold air pouring through those old leaky windows, well, guess what? When it gets hot this summer, the exact opposite is going to happen. All of that cool air is going to escape through those leaky windows, and that hot air is going to come in. I'm telling you right now to replace those old windows and keep your house cool this summer with the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs over at Window World. Their windows are one of 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval, a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And right now, Window World is offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. So pick up the phone right now and call this number for a free home estimate, 816-799-0820. And they can show you how they are simply the best for less. Remember this phone number, 816-799-0820. Or check out the website, windowworld.com.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
We're on the clock, KC. Gear up at Rally House with the latest styles and shop 2023 NFL Draft new arrivals before the pick is in.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State, Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House, it's your city, it's your house, it's the Rally House.
Pick your draft styles in-store and online at rallyhouse.com.
Hi, I'm Rex with KC Real Estate Buyers, and I buy houses for cash. If you want to sell your home fast and easy without a realtor and save thousands in commissions and closing costs, call me today at 816-330-6000. You can sell me your home in as little as 3 days or on your time frame, and I guarantee to make a fair offer. My home buying process is simple. In fact, I can make you a cash offer right over the phone. Do you have a home that needs a lot of work? Did you inherit a house you don't want? No problem. I can buy your home no matter the condition, the situation, or location. You don't need to clean or fix anything. And remember, there are no commissions or closing costs. If you want to sell your home fast and easy, I'll buy it. Call me today for a free offer, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. I'm Rex with KC Real Estate Buyers, and I look forward to working with you. 816-330-6000. Or visit our website at rexbuyskc.com. rexbuyskc.com.
This world has its limits, but
Come join 610 Sports Radio at The Landing in Liberty for Drafts and Drafts, a roundtable discussion and Q&A with Nick Schwartz, Nate Taylor, Mitchell Schwartz, and special guest Tuesday, April 20th.